Welcome back, everybody. I just love that. As always, I just love every second of that video. Well, it's been a long week. We got a lot for you, a lot to cover today. Not just on the BSC chain as normal. Today we have some good ones on the Poly chain. But we're going to get right off into a theme, and this theme is sinking at sea. Atlantis started out very well. This coin was alerted to me by a couple of people in our group. And it had a decent launch. Looks like it got botted up pretty big at the beginning, but survived and was doing okay in the week. However, as they say, Atlantis is the mythical city at the bottom of the sea. Yep. And so is your money. They rugged it. They had enough. They had about 6 days there of trading, and the developer said, "No mas, we're out." And they took your money, and they are cruising around the sea somewhere. And on the sea theme, we have a big project that was launched, Trident Token. Trident Token had a lot of press, a lot of good information. They were the future of DeFi. Everyone says they're the future of DeFi. But then their website disappeared. You know what happens next? Twitter disappears. And you know what that means. The Twitter disappearing is the sign that you should have sold 10 minutes ago. But anyway, the lesson to learn here is when you're researching coins, if they say they're doxed, make sure they're doxed. They had a LinkedIn profile here. Only 9 connections. This project manager, co-founder, visionary, all this type of stuff, 9 connections. If you're going to have a LinkedIn profile, they're going to have more than 9 connections. And it turns out all the people in the project, all the accounts were linked to each other. And so it was just one giant fakeroony. And you guys got screwed. At the bottom of the sea. As you know, the themes, I'd like to put things in themes because they make things a little funnier. Last week, I spoke about Uncle Dodge. And I mentioned that it wasn't wise to invest in your crazy uncle's projects. So this week, we have Drunk Uncle Dodge, because it's got to be better than Uncle Dodge, right? I mean, this one has got to be a guaranteed win. I mean, he's got an AK, bottle of Belvedere, his Matisse mustache. It's got to be a winner, right? Wrongamundo, they took your money. The Chumbalones got it again. They thought, oh, we can make a killing, even though they knew it was a meme coin. They put their money in, and Drunk Uncle Dodge left the party and took all your money with him. Don't know why you invested in it. I mean, the AK and the Belvedere, it's not a giveaway. But the next one, we have a good lesson. Twitter's gone. They took your money. Although I bring this one up because Kraken X3 was actually a token that had been audited. It had a good group of people in a Telegram behind it, kind of looking at everything. The contract was good. Participated in the Telegram after the effect. And some people, in fact, even participated in the pre-sale to putting in 100 BNB per person in it, which is kind of a lot for a pre-sale. But they went through it and they liked the contract. What they didn't count on was a dishonest dev. And I think this might have been the record for a rug. As you can see here, they had a 24-hour pre-sale. And then a 10-minute public sale, and they took all your money. The Chumbalones got it stuck to them again. That's a tough one. That's the lesson for having a doxed dev crew and making sure that it's an actual doxing, not the fake one like Trident. You know, it's not all bad news here of getting rugged and ripped off in these scams. Sometimes we lose money just because of apathy. And, you know, I know a lot of people are fans of this, especially in our little DYOR group. But Cold Koala has just been suffering from apathy. And if you look at it, you really got to think it's a slow rug. The only time the volume was up was in the initial buy and then in a pump a few days later. And then ever since then, it's just been petering out and people have been pulling money out. We bring this up because it had a lot of hype, a lot of people pitching it, and a lot of influencers pushing it as well. But when you look at the chart, it was just not pretty. The rule is with charts, zoom out to see the real trend. you zoom in, you kind of see a lot of ups, and people say, see, it's going up. But if you zoom out, you see it never was going up. It was just the victim of a pump and one really long dump. You got dumped on. So I try to stay out of the world of gossip, but got to give in to the world's richest man. World's richest man, like other rich men, have coins named after them. And for sure, we had a Baby Bezos. This is the real coin, Baby Bezos, real project. I said, oh, that's interesting. And someone alerted me. They said, well, that's okay, but everyone's getting screwed with the fake Baby Bezos. Yep. Baby Bezos Fako took all of your money-o and ran off with it. They're probably buying plastic toys from Amazon with your money. So I thought to myself, I said, this is interesting. I'll keep track of these things and kind of go back and revisit it. So I went back and revisited the Baby Bezos, the real account. Nope. They rugged you too. They took all your money. Went up and up and up. Then they did a little trading. Developer said, it's been a couple of hours. That's enough of that. And they rugged it and they took all your money. Once again, probably using it to fund Amazon gift cards. I just can't get over it, even when it's the real one, and then you look back on it, and all your money's gone. The next one is the lesson for yield farms. I know a lot of you talk about yield farms and putting your money in and just getting free money forever. But generally what happens is you lose all your money, either through inflation, because they're minting more coins than the market can support. So while you get 1,000,000% interest, they've done a 2,000,000% increase in the number of tokens out there. So you're actually down by 50%, or they get hacked. Most yield farms are just copies of other GitHub or other contracts, and the developers don't really go through them. Polyeld was one, and they're just now coming out saying, don't buy it. Your funds are at risk from the exploiter. They can't even stop the exploiter without wrecking everything. Obviously, at the time of recording this, they may have fixed that. But the developer, according to PeckShield is a good rug screening group. The developer, or the exploiter, took 123 Ethereum. 123. Just goodbye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. That was that. And they continue, at the time of recording this, they were continuing to lose it. So when you're doing a yield farm, first of all, make sure the team is doxed. I mean, you got to make sure that you know who you're putting your money with. Banks pay you lousy interest, and these guys pay you a lot of interest, but there's really high risk. So you really got to watch it. Don't put all your money in one. Spread it out amongst a whole bunch of them. Another group that does some rug screening for me, and for a lot of people on the internet, is, well, RugScreen. And rugscreen.com came out and said that Mind Music is a rug pull. And they do it algorithmically. They run the contract through their computer system, and it gives them points. And over so many points, it's a rug pull. And this one came out definitely a rug pull. So I thought, well, I better go check that one out. So I looked at it, and I'm like, well, the coin doesn't look so much like a rug pull. It has an okay launch. They kind of got hammered after it. Looks like some insiders sold, and it started to come back. And then it's been slowly petering out over a couple of days. But it hasn't tanked like the traditional rug pull or anything like that. It's like, all right, it has a chance. It's starting to go up. But then I looked at the date. If you go back and look at the date on the tweet, well, which is not, it's in the code here, the 30th at about midnight. And if you go back, look at the chart, that time is right there. And so since this contract got declared a rug by an influential rug screening group, there's only been buying. No selling. Not a single person sold. And there's only been buys in it, which is a dead ringer for them, turning off the selling of the contract so you couldn't take all your money. And I'm not sure what happens. I'm going to follow up with them too. And we'll report back on that next week. But pay attention. Always try to, if you're worried about it at all, sell little things all the time to make sure they've left the selling ability on. Well, we're going to finish up with a truly remarkable story. one we have here that is amazing in the scale of the loss, and not just the dollar volume, but in the sheer amount of value to the investors, and frankly in the chart. It's as they say, a lot of these things are fun and games to make fun of the chumbalones losing their money and getting wrecked. But this one's a serious one, and I can see this one, the people winding up on the U.S. Department of Justice's hit list after a while. But I'm going to give you a good example before we get into this. It's a reward token called Leviathan. And Leviathan is a company that brought indexes to the BSC chain. And we need indexes. Indexes are good. They spread risk. They help you invest in things. They help smooth out the ups and downs of the market. They've proven themselves over and over to be a very good thing and to be one of the best return on investments there are in almost any market. But we're going to have a good example here so you really understand why. And the rush for Solidity coding people to consolidate and make everything as efficient as possible sometimes has unintended consequences. So tell me this. Why would airlines not combine their frequent flyer reward system, their reservation systems, the buyers, sellers market, and their engine management system? Why would they not combine all three of those into one nice, tightly written contract that's very efficient that they can run on one computer or one system? Yeah, that's why. Because it would explode in a fiery crash just like that. So I introduced to you Leviathan. Leviathan, launching their index on June 8th, tells us that they're coming out, and right now their developers are tracking down every single bug. Do you think they got them all? I'll not get into that yet. Then on June 21st, they come out and tell us our product combines innovation and protection. In theory, that would be true. But on July 30th, you got wrecked. You got wrecked, and everything spectacularly went almost to zero. And what's interesting to note here is the scale on which this dropped. It dropped because of a minting function error. I'm not going to get into exactly how it is. I don't fully understand it. But I know someone got a hold of a quadrillion extra tokens for free and sold them. They got them at 15 cents. And they started selling them at 15 cents. And where it ended up was 6 zeros at 62, 600 thousandths of a cent, whatever that is. A drop of 99.99999%. If done in reverse, if they had done it the right way, which we all always hope for, it would have gone up 75,000%. Now, if you recall, SafeMoon in its heyday did a 20,000% up or something like that. This could, done in reverse, this would have been much better than that. But the sheer amount of loss is staggering. I know you're thinking, but Tom, earlier in the show you mentioned 750,000 or 715,000, something like that. But now you're only talking about 75,000. What's the scoop? Well, I tricked you at the beginning talking about that mysterious $750,000 project, or 750,000% up project, because I turned the graph around. This is the real graph. And you see what we were just looking at is the end here, the little rug pull at the end there. But the real value of the contract is, look where it went. It started at about 80 cents after its highs in the first week of trading. And so going from about 80 to 90 cents down to 0.000000062 is another 99.99% loss. But if it done in reverse, it would have been a 750,000% increase in value, which is about the same as buying Manhattan from the Dutch in the 1600s for the equivalent of about a millionth of a cent today. And now it's worth trillions. It's the scale of the loss here is staggering. And to the investor, there's not really a good lesson because there's not much you could have done. The only lesson the investor can really learn is hey, don't put all your eggs in one basket. And when you've made a lot of gains, pull out profits. But for you coders, which I'm not a coder, but I do understand it, don't rush for efficiency all the time, because sometimes it's not good. And the reward contracts are all getting hacked. And really, the reward functions should be completely separate, different contracts in which there's a lot of error checking going between them, so that if the reward token part of it is compromised, the whole thing doesn't get wrecked. And that's all we have for you this week on Rugged, Ruined, and REKT.